everyone. Welcome to Crescent Coast in the Kitchen. We're so happy that you're joining us tonight. We do this every month, the second Wednesday of the month. And I am Layne, team leader of Crescent Coast Experts with Realty One Group Dockside. And this is my teammate, Megan McGuire. And we're realtors here in the beautiful sunny Myrtle Beach area. All the way, our area extends all the way from Charleston, South Carolina to the North Carolina line. So if you're interested in this area, give us a shout. Well, tonight we are bringing you some of our favorites as usual, some of our culinary favorites, if you will. I'm going to make sausage and peppers. It's my one of the favorites of my Italian husband. I don't know if you think of sausage and peppers as being Italian. I didn't really before I was married to an Italian, but it has come down through their family. Well, Miss Megan over here is half Italian herself, so she knows about it. Mm-hmm. So, and Megan, what are you making tonight?
I'm making an Ambroisa. So I actually never had it before growing up, but my boyfriend's mom used to make it for my boyfriend all the time, and so they kind of got me into it, and she taught me how to make it because she doesn't live close to him, so I make it for him, you know, like his mom used to. So
yeah, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, and so Ambroisa, some of our watchers, our viewers don't even know what that is. So I think this is gonna be interesting. It's kind of a dessert. It's like a dessert salad. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna get, and then also we're just gonna add. We're gonna be talking about real estate issues here and there throughout while we're cooking. So listen out for those tidbits. If you have particular questions, just please put them in the message boxes below our show. And we have some people off camera. Some other members of our team who are keeping an eye on that, and so we can answer your questions. And then I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite tips, tricks, and hacks for your household and your kitchen. So I'm going to get started, and I went ahead and saved I didn't prep all this beforehand because in real life you don't have a I don't have a sous chef. I don't reckon any of you guys have a sous chef. So, so what you want to start with, it helps if you get all your ingredients in one place. Yeah, we're doing it for this show, but if you'll do this at home, it'll make your life a whole lot easier to cook in the kitchen. This empty bowl, this is my trash bowl, so I'm not forever having to turn around and pull out the trash can or whatever. So that actually is a hack. I consider that a kitchen hack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just, and also now in preparation for our show, I put potatoes and our sausage and peppers, and actually that's what my Italian father-in-law taught me to do, and I really liked the sausage and peppers even more after that. I feel like it adds that kind of creamy component, that creamy starchy component, and it really does make it.
Yeah, I've never had it with potatoes either.
Yeah, and it really does make it a one-pot meal. Otherwise, I feel like I need to add a starch like rice or something. Yeah. So I just put these in the microwave. I just cleaned them and I put them in the microwave for 3 minutes, and so they're just sitting there. It's nice if they can sit for a minute, so that when you go to handle them, they're not still so hot. But it's nice if they're, well, it doesn't matter. I was going to say I like them to still be warm a little bit when I go to slice them because they're a little bit softer than when they get cold. So I am going to start by cutting the onion. And I just have a prep, like this is a prep knife that came with a set my dad gave me. So with the onion, I like to cut it in half. And then just cut the ends off. They can see that. I forget sometimes you guys can't necessarily see what I'm doing. I'd like this to be Food Network, but it's not, so I don't have all those fancy cameras.
No.
So, and then by the time I cut those two ends off, it's super easy for me to just take that peel right off. And it just goes right here in my trash bowl. Just very handy. And then I like to cut the onion in half because I like the shape that it makes. It makes it into a half circle. It's easier to cut because one side is flat, and then I also like the shape it makes. So for the dish. If you had a small onion, like if you just had, I do like one kind of large to medium onion. I do a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and a yellow bell pepper. You just can buy them in what they call that stoplight package at the grocery store. And then just like I did 4 of these potatoes, and then I do a pack of Italian sausage, and I'll hold that up so you can see that. You don't have to worry, like if you like more potatoes, use more potatoes. If you know, if you like more onion, use more onion.
Or different colored peppers. Some people prefer
Yeah.
different colors.
Yeah, maybe some of you can't eat, like every now and then there'll be somebody who really can't eat green pepper, so just make it one of the colored ones. And also keep a towel right here tucked in, whether you're tucked into your waistband or to your apron, that way it's always right here to wipe your hands. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this onion. I'm just gonna slice it. And so it's gonna make, like I said, by it being on the flat side, it's more stable and you're less likely to cut yourself. And I started talking about if you have smaller onions, that's fine too. And you can just slice off just a little bit of one side of it to make it flat, but those would be full circles most likely. So I will just slice these up and just put them in this container right here. And these containers, you might be worried about, some more containers to clean up, but most of us have a dishwasher, and it just goes right in the dishwasher. It's just so convenient. Like
It is, yeah.
That way, by the time we put on that heat, we're not hurrying up and rushing and burning one thing that's in the pan while we're trying to cut the other. Okay. And I like to cook the onions and the peppers at the same time. I put them all in the pan at the same time. Because if you put one in before the other, when I first started cooking this, because I didn't know any better, I thought I needed to put the onions in first. But then my onions would be like all cooked down and super soft, and my peppers were kind of.
I think peppers take a while.
Peppers do, they do. I mean, you almost could put your peppers in first before the onion, but over time I've just evolved.
They take about the same.
They take about the same, yeah. And so I just cut them in half. It's super easy. I don't know if you've cut them before. You can buy them already sliced. Just cut them in half and just pull the seeds and the stem out. And it's kind of nice to get your hands in something. I know a lot of us will, I don't know, I don't know if this seems like a lot of prep to people. I mean, it is more than throwing something out, but.
Yeah. I mean, you could buy it already chopped too, to make it easier, like a quicker dinner.
Yeah.
Because I know a bunch of supermarkets sell the onions and peppers cut already, like have like a stir fry.
Yeah, that's the kind you would want. You wouldn't want to get the chopped. You want to get the sliced because the bigger pieces are nice. The little ones cook down to nothing. The little chop, that's like to go into a sauce.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So, we have touched on this before, this real estate issue before, but there is something here in the Myrtle Beach area. I can't speak for other coastal areas, maybe so. I can speak for other areas of the country. It's a very unusual arrangement. It's called a horizontal property regime, and that actually just means condo. I'll explain about that a little bit more. So most everybody's heard about condominiums, and most everybody's heard about townhomes, and everybody knows about houses, just freestanding single-family residences. But one thing about that, the ownership is very different. When you own a house, you own the house, you own the airspace above, you own the ground that it's sitting on, regardless of the size of the lot, and you own what's below ground, like mineral rights, or if you have oil underneath there or whatever, you own all that. It's called vertical ownership. When you have a townhome shares walls with other townhomes. It's like joined houses. You also have that vertical ownership. You own the ground underneath, you own the airspace above, as well as the townhome. Now, I just put that in my trash bowl. Now, a condominium, you don't own below and above. You only own the space between the walls. And so we call that horizontal ownership. And that is going to help me explain to you now. Here in the Myrtle Beach area, we have condominiums, we have townhomes, we have houses. We also have houses where you don't own the land, and they are classified as condominiums. And that's called a horizontal property regime, HPR. And that's what it's called, horizontal, because it's the same kind of ownership that a condominium has. So it's like you just own that. You just own that horizontal space. You don't own the vertical space. You don't own the ground and the area above. And that can be really nice. We have that because that way you can own a house, but still be able, somebody else is keeping up your grass, and you can come here vacation and you can go back to your regular home and you don't have to worry about the ground. So that's what that is. And you will find that those kinds of houses, they cost less than other houses where you own the land. And that's why when you call me and Megan and you're all excited about a house for a certain price, we say, yeah, it is a great house, but you don't own the land. And people are always so surprised, and we have to explain that to them. So anyway. All right, so I'm going to get this heat started. Just kind of do it on a medium high. And you can use olive oil or you can use vegetable oil. It really doesn't matter because we're putting sausage in here, and sausage is pretty darn flavorful. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sausage in there first, and once it browns, so here you go, just out of anywhere, Walmart, grocery store, Food Lion, Lowe's, Publix, wherever, just some Italian sausage links.
And you got hot. And
I
they can
got
get
hot.
mild.
Yeah, they have ones, yeah, because the mild ones they call sweet, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but everybody that's here tonight, because you know that we all have a party after the show is over. We all have a dinner party. But everybody here likes spicy, so I just went ahead and got the...
And I don't think it's too hot.
Yeah.
It kind of,
It's
with all
not.
the peppers and onions and all that, kind of
It
dials it down.
dials it down, that's a good way to put it. And what I do is I cut them on the diagonal, and I cut each one into 4 pieces, and that way they cook pretty quickly, and they portion out nicely for your guests. And there'll be a little bit of skin on it, but just cut through that. You can take the skin off if you want to, but if you take the skin off, the sausage will fall apart. It's not bad, but then it's just...
I don't think I've ever had it with skin off. Usually my parents always just
Yeah.
threw it right on.
I've taken the skin off for other dishes where I wanted the sausage loose.
Okay.
So that's...
Depends on what you're cooking.
It depends on what you're cooking. And it kind of stayed in little meatball lumps.
Okay.
But it's more kind of like a meatball than a sausage link. So I might need to turn that up. Everybody knows that if you've watched the show before, you know that I'm like, it's an electric stove. How am I supposed to use that? My entire life I've used gas. And I'm learning to use electric. It actually isn't bad. You just have to get used to it. We have both. We're starting to have some gas communities here at the beach, but for a long time we didn't. The whole Market Common is a gas community, and there's some other ones besides that now too.
I feel like up north, gas is more common.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people from up north come down here and are looking for gas communities because they've had it.
Yeah.
And just like you, they love their gas stoves.
Yeah. You just have so much more control over it, I feel.
But some people grew up with electric and prefer that, so I guess it really just depends.
Yeah, and I've had people not want the open flame too. Yeah. And actually, with this being in my bar, I love my stove in my bar.
Yeah, it is nice.
I kind of like when I have people sitting here.
Usually stoves are this way, so it's nice that you're facing your guests.
Yeah. And maybe it's better that I don't have to open flame if people are sitting here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let that meat brown. So what I'll do is I'll simmer this sausage until it's brown all the way around, and then I'll take it out and put in the peppers and onions. And meanwhile, Megan, if you'd like to do the Ambroisa, can she be seen?
Okay. All right. So this is super easy, and we know we love the super easy recipes, right? Like I said, I've never had this growing up, but now I like it. I think it's also a really good summer recipe because it's very light. I mean, it's literally marshmallows and fruit, pretty much, and it's fruit in it, so you can say it's a healthy dessert, you know? Even though it's probably not the healthiest, but
I think that counts. I mean, the fruit is
healthy.
good for you. It's got like vitamin C and fiber and all that good stuff.
So I just got a bag. Obviously, I'm making not a huge portion. My boyfriend Casey's mom makes like a huge bowl of it when we come because Casey loves it. And honestly, you can kind of eat a lot of it because it is so light. But I'm not making a huge one tonight. But you can definitely get a bigger bag. But I just used mini marshmallows. And then what you want to do, so this kind of sounds weird when she taught me to make this. You add a little bit of sour cream, and I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weird, like in a dessert, sour cream, it kind of freaks me out a little bit, because I mean, I personally don't really care for sour cream, but you don't even taste it, so.
So that helps keep it from being so sweet.
And it, yeah.
Just a little bit of tang maybe.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I'll be adding like some of the fruit juices in a little bit, and like the sour cream just soaks it all up that you don't even taste any of it. So honestly, there's no measurements. So sorry guys, but literally all you do is the sour cream. You just want it to coat all the marshmallows. So you don't want too much, but you just want them all enough where they're all like sticking together. So I kind of just add a little bit at a time, so I don't add too much at once. And just add more as you go. But you just really just want it coated to give it more of that consistency.
I never would have guessed. I know I've enjoyed Ambrosia a lot. When I grew up, we would have it at like Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas when we all got together, but I've never made it. So this is really cool. I'm really learning something this evening.
Yeah. If you really don't need a lot. I mean, I kind of bought a big jug. I shouldn't have bought such a big one, but really it doesn't take a lot at all. And again, all the fruit juices and all that soaks up, and that sour cream gets really sweet. And then I'll show the camera too, so you can kind of get an idea.
If any of you guys out there have suggestions of someone that we could have on our show for a guest, like people that are very good at what they do that you would recommend, I have a couple people that, well, we've been bringing on our favorite people, like our favorite lender, our favorite interior designer, our favorite attorney, but we have really our favorite paint consultant. Like we have really good resources and really good people, and we're always looking for more to have on our list, if you will, to recommend. Coming up in the next several months, I have a really great cleaning service coming on. We have a man that knows everything about swimming pools coming on.
Which, that's hard to find sometimes. I feel like a lot of people have issues with pools, and they're tricky. They can be tricky to figure out.
I've never owned a pool, but I've heard they're tricky because it's like
a lot of upkeep and maintenance.
Well, there's also like fiberglass and concrete and all
the
the
chemicals,
things.
especially chlorine.
Yeah. Oh, there's salt water and chlorine. Anyway, so he's coming. And then another guy, another person I'm going to have on this show is someone who develops pasta sauces. Total score. But anyway, we're always looking for new people on, and so obviously whoever it is needs to be in the Myrtle Beach area at least at some point. My pasta sauce developer, he's kind of all over the place, but we're going to snag him. He's in Myrtle Beach, so I'm going to snag him.
That sounds fun.
One time when he's in town. Well, I'm selling him a house. So when he comes to the house, and he's buying from me here. And I can snag him.
You sell him a house, and he comes to our show and hooks us up with some pasta sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of have the consistency. Let's see. You see how it's all like very sticky together, clumping. I mean, it's really not hard. As long as they're all like, it's all coated and stuck together. It's not like globs of sour cream.
This is reminding me of Rice Krispie treats, because Rice Krispie treats, you melt the marshmallow and mix them in Rice Krispie, but this is easier. I personally find Rice Krispie treats challenging because to stir it all together before
you gotta make sure it doesn't burn. So this is really fun. Like you can really add whatever you want. Like I know Ambrosia, there's so many different ways to make it. This is just how Casey's mom makes it, but I mean, really however you want it. If you don't like certain fruits that I'm adding, you could just add different kinds. I know some people add like coconut and nuts. Like you can really just play around with it. That's what makes it so fun. So we have some.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So we're going to pause her merely because this is. I'm going to show you the steps in cooking, and then she's going to come back.
Okay.
So hold that thought. The fruit. So the sausage is not done yet. Like it's not done all the way through. You're not going to be able to see that, but it's still pink in the middle.
It's brown.
It's brown. And I don't want it all the way done because I want it to ultimately cook together, finish cooking with the vegetables. So I just have a slotted spoon, so there is a little bit of extra grease in there from the sausage.
Right, that's what makes it good.
It is what makes it good. You gotta have some of the fat or it's not gonna taste good. And so now I will add the onion. Sorry, Megan. You all right?
Yeah, we're good. Put the aprons on.
I know. That's why we gotta have the aprons. And then just the peppers, and then I'll mix these up, and and meanwhile, as these turn soft, I'll be cutting the potatoes and add them in. The reason I cook the potatoes just a little bit before is otherwise they don't have enough time to cook with the peppers and onions. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Free.
So we use mandarin oranges. For this one, she taught me to not use any of the juice in this one. I guess because they're really juicy already. So just kind of pour them in, just drain all the juice, and there's still going to be a little bit of juice from the oranges, which is fine. And just kind of eyeball it. Again, like if you like more of a certain fruit, then add more. I just kind of like to add a little and mix it together and kind of get an idea of how much you want, you know. But I mean, I'm probably going to use almost all of this, I would say.
See, it's healthy. That's all.
It's healthy fruit. Just kind of mix it together and coat it. I'm just going to add it all. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm out of salt and pepper and I don't measure, so.
We don't measure here.
Yeah, we don't measure.
Okay, and then I'm going to add some pineapple chunks. You want to add a little bit of the juice for this. Again, it's really just kind of eyeball it. That should be good. And I'm going to drain the rest so when I'm pouring the pineapples in, it doesn't get too much more juice in there.
I love pineapple and mandarin oranges.
Very summery too. Just want to pour those in there. Again, eyeball it. If you like less pineapple, I just kind of do an even amount of all. So when people are eating it, they have, you know, the same amount of fruit. But it really doesn't matter. I just eyeball it. I'm using this pretty much this whole can right here. And again, just mix it, and it smells so good. All the fruit juices. Okay. And then for the cherries, you want to get, well, I mean, you don't have to get this, like I have them without the stem. It's a lot easier because then you're going to be standing there picking all the stems off, and I don't know.
That's a really good tip.
Don't really want
because
to do
pay
that.
attention when you're at the grocery store.
So,
look at the
yeah.
jar. Make sure it says, does it say
It's a
stemless?
salad style.
Salad
Salad style.
S-A-L-A-D,
Yep.
salad.
So I recommend doing that, so it saves you a lot of time. So same thing. This one you add a little bit of juice as well. And I kind of, she taught me just, you kind of want it like a light pink color. And as you can see here in this one, see how
It's so
it's
pretty.
kind of like pinkish. So I add the juice first for that, and I just mix it together to get the color I want. And then drain the juice and add the cherries. So yeah,
This would be a great thing to bring to a potluck, Megan.
it's super easy, and kids like it. It's literally fruit and marshmallows.
Right.
So okay, I'm gonna drain the rest of this.
I noticed she's draining. Just, you know, I heard a chef one time say on television, you know, water is the enemy of flavor. So just for the most part, you want to take as much water out of your recipes as possible.
Oh, this one has a stem.
Well. Well,
So I
extra
guess we'll have for
fiber.
that.
Yeah.
Tricky. All right. Then mix it all together. And literally, this is it. Crazy. So you want to let it sit overnight, preferably. We've had it before when it's sat for like 4 to 5 hours. That's fine too, but overnight, just, you know, just like marinating meat when they say, oh, we could do 4 hours, but it's better overnight. You get more flavor overnight, but a couple hours is fine too. And then it just kind of
Well,
gets...
tiramisu was like that. We made tiramisu, was it last time?
Yeah,
It was last time. And tiramisu is better if you let it sit because the flavors get to melt.
Yep.
Does it change texture? Does it get more liquidy or less liquidy?
It gets a little less. So the marshmallows definitely soak it up. Sour cream soaks it up.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's really it. It's super easy. And you just put it in the fridge.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. And again, add what you want. If you want more fruit, different kinds of fruit, coconut. I think I've seen people like shake like nutmeg or maybe in there. I personally, I'm not a huge nutmeg person. I mean, I like it, but I think it's good how it is, and that's how I was taught to make it. So And I have to make sure Casey likes it still, because I have to cook it just like his mom.
I know, you gotta make it just like, you gotta make the family recipe. And Rebecca from Ontario, thank you for watching us today, and we're very happy that you like what you're seeing. So you guys saw me put in some salt, maybe you saw me put in some salt and pepper, maybe you didn't, but I did put in salt and pepper. So another thing and I got this from my husband's Italian family. It sounds odd. It's Greek spices. They love to use it, but I guess the Italians and the Greeks, they cross what they do a lot, like their various recipes and spices.
Where did you get that?
This was bought in Charleston, but I guess you could use that. To me, it seems
Like what's in it?
similar to the Lori's seasoning salt. I'll let you read the ingredients. For sure, there's paprika in there. And I just give this a generous sprinkle. You want to see what's in there? And I'm going to add the potatoes to this now.
So there's oregano, pepper, salt, paprika, basil, oh my gosh, and a bunch of other things I can't pronounce.
Must be the Greek stuff.
Yeah.
It's Greek. Well, just use like Lori's seasoning salt, or look for the Greek seasoning. I know you can get it in Charleston, but my Italian sister-in-law gets it for me. So, but you can make this
Publix
without
might
that.
have it. Because I know Publix, I buy like
Yeah.
Italian, they have like, not like Italian seasonings, but like, I don't know, different kinds of stuff there too. Publix is more diverse, I feel like.
Publix is more diverse than
Kroger
area.
too.
And if you have I'm sure you could use Italian seasoning. I mean, this isn't a make or break. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, oregano, pepper, salt, paprika, that's the main components. So.
pretty
And at the World Market.
Oh, at the World's Market? Okay, so we have a World's Market too. That's pretty common.
Yeah, we do have a
Beach.
world market here. Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah, check there too.
Yeah, so you guys that don't live here, because we've gotten this question before. Yes, we have Sam's Club. Yes, we have Target. Yes, we have World
Costco.
Market, Costco. We have Fresh Market. We don't have a Whole Foods, but we have a couple of Fresh Markets, and we have Aldi's. So we pretty much have everything. If anyone is listening in the Trader Joe's corporate echelons, we want a Trader Joe's here.
I bet you Trader Joe's has the Greek spices,
Here
because they
it
have
is.
so many spices.
Now so my peppers are about halfway done, the potatoes are about halfway done, and so I added the sausage that's about halfway done. And so now their flavors just can meld. They'll cook together. I'd probably say at this point another 12 minutes. I would say total prep and cook time is probably 40 minutes. That's not bad. I don't think that's bad for a weeknight meal.
And if you have it set up where, you have everything pre-chopped or whatever, it'll be less time too.
Yep. I just realized I didn't cut one of my potatoes, but that's because we're doing other things. So one thing that Megan and I wanted to Are we back?
Yep,
We're
you're
back.
good.
Okay, we're back. Technical glitch that we have because we're amateurs. So I have developed a way, like a timeline and the way I do things so that things stay as calm as possible for my sellers. Because if you go to put your home on the market in this climate, it can be really crazy making. People can make your life miserable until you're under contract. So I figured that out, and I'm very pleased with that. And then Megan, working mostly with buyers, like what do you have to offer with people who are in the market to buy?
My advice, like obviously, it's a little crazy of a market. I think the biggest thing is that as a buyer, you need to kind of have these expectations. It is, everyone kind of knows, it is a seller's market, so for our buyers, it is a little tough, and some could feel defeated because, it's hard when you fall in love with the home and, you don't get it the first time or, whatever, for whatever reason. I think you just need to breathe and just kind of take things one day at a time because this market is crazy. You don't know what is going to happen. You don't know if your offer will be accepted or not. And I think you just kind of have to, take it day by day. And then obviously we're here to help. We're aware of what's going on. We could talk to the listing agent, see, what their sellers are looking for, because you never know. Their sellers may not even be looking for the highest and best. Maybe they want a quick close or something like that we could find out for you guys. So I just think you have to. Just the buyers need to be aware that yes, it is a crazy market, but we're here to help, and just kind of have those expectations that it may take a couple tries, but we will find you your home eventually. It just might take a little time.
Yeah, and then one thing we found is like really it's about removing as many objections when you're putting forth an offer. It's how many objections can you remove from your offer to purchase. So as long as a property is priced reasonably, not in the stratosphere, if you can offer at least asking price, that is a good thing. If you offer below, the likelihood you're going to get it is it's just pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, especially if it's priced right.
Right, if it's priced right. And then another thing is if there's 3 different kind of contracts, they each are easier on the seller than the other. There's an as-is, where you buy the property with exactly as it is. There's a repair request and a due diligence. We don't expect you to know what that is. But repair request requires more from the seller than the as-is, and due diligence is a little bit riskier than the repair request. So the less demands you can make on the seller, the better. Also, most people have to have a mortgage. So, and that may just be the case. If you can do a higher earnest money to show you're serious. If you can buy cash, cash is king. And then another thing is, even with a mortgage, there is a way to take away the appraisal requirement. If you have savings, you can make up the difference. Because one thing that's happening is you don't want to pay too much for a house, but the appraisals are having a hard time keeping up with the home valuations. And this is very different. Some people are thinking this is like 2007. This isn't like 2007. These people are buying primary residence. I just got a listing under contract last night. We had 6 offers. All of them wanted it for their primary residence. So that's very different than in 2007 when the bubble burst, because people were getting mortgages just on signatures. People are buying properties with cash now. So there's no financial bubble. Anyway, but we're going to move on. Let's see. We've got the Ambroisa made. This is just about done. And you just watch for the softness of the vegetables and just making sure that the pink is not there in the sausage, because we cut each piece of sausage into 4 pieces. It cooks faster. Smaller pieces cook faster than big pieces.
There's so many different ways too to make sausage and peppers and onions. I've had it. I've never had it with potatoes.
Yeah.
As a kid, my parents made it almost like northern style, on a hoagie or roll.
Oh, that'd be
sausage
so
and peppers
good.
and onions.
Yeah.
I know Casey's grandmother makes it with sauce, homemade sauce, and then over white rice. So there's so many ways to play around with it, which I kind of like, because even if you had this last week, you can make this again, but totally different with the same ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. I love that, because you can really personalize it to your family's favorite taste. And I'm going to tell you, this is great to put on a platter and bring to the table, but you can just leave it in the skillet and serve it directly from the skillet. And I was actually planning on plating it on a platter that I've set out, but when I feed, normally we just serve it from the stove unless I have a big bunch of company.
And it keeps it warm too, because it's in that hot pan. One less dishes. One less dish. Or the dishwasher to do.
Right? And I will say, I love, you see me use this all the time, this big iron skillet. It's like $14. We'll talk about seasoning the skillet sometime, but it's just an essential component of your kitchen. So I believe that this is done. I'm going to give it a stir. I'm going to take it off the heat. If you cook it too long, things start turning to mush, and
Especially potatoes, I feel
yeah. And I will say, I have cooked this without giving those potatoes a little microwave before, and they really don't cook enough.
Because potatoes take a while to cook.
They really do.
So, I would microwave them. It's probably your best bet, because peppers and onions and the sausage don't take very long.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I'm gonna move this aside. And one thing something I wanna share with people, to me, I grew up in the South. I'm a Southern girl. So it's so basic to me, but I realized a lot of people don't know. And actually, there's a lot of Southerners that don't know how to make iced tea either. Because we tend to buy it like already made in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's what
There's
my
some,
family
yeah,
does.
yeah. There's something to be said for that, but it's so yummy when you make it yourself. Like it just tastes a little fresher.
Mhm.
So I'll just show you how I make it. I'm sure there's some gourmets out there that might take exception, but I'm going to show you how I do it.
Well, that's what everything we make. We're
Yeah.
we're not,
Yeah.
famous chefs.
No,
We're just normal, regular
just
people,
normal, regular people.
which sometimes is better.
Yeah. So these are Lipton tea bags. This is what I have. My favorite for iced tea is Louisiana. I actually have it. They taste different. They're both black teas. They taste different, but this is what I have. And this is like the larger size. But if you just have the little ones, you could use 4 little ones or 2 big ones. You want to use enough tea because otherwise the tea you make is weak. Yeah, you do. Actually, so the way I approach this is I make a sort of a tea concentrate because then you can just add ice, right? And then it's cold faster. Yeah, no sense boiling like or like a quart of water or half a gallon of water. So I put my tea bags in my big measuring cup. Use about, 3 or 4 cups of water. And I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. And there are people out there that will have exception to this. Some people say you never boil a tea bag, you boil the water, then put the tea bag in it. So if you want to be that particular, you go right ahead, but I'm not. So we'll start there. And then,
What else do you need for that? It's just
yeah, well, a lot of people, do you drink your tea sweet or do you even drink tea?
if I like hot. Well, I don't really drink ice.
Iced
Like
tea.
if I drink hot, it's usually just I like just a little bit of honey, and that's really it. I'm pretty plain. But
Do you drink iced tea at all?
I never make it.
You never, yeah, she never makes it.
I buy it or
Yeah.
made.
Yeah. My husband only likes unsweetened, but he's from West Virginia, and I'm not really sure if that counts as Southern. But I grew up in North Carolina, and I'm in South Carolina, and we drink our sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to say, depending on the family, like when I was younger, I liked that, like a cup of sugar in your half gallon of tea.
Mm-hmm.
That's some sweet tea. That's how we liked it. That's how we had it at holidays. And we didn't have alcohol at holidays. Because, in the South, a lot of us are teetotalers. I have family members that were teetotalers. And so we didn't have alcohol on holidays, but we did have sweet tea. Boy, some sweet tea. But now,
sugar highs.
yeah, to get the sugar high. But now I just use a half a cup of sugar. So, and that's actually pretty moderately sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You would just, if you want to play with it, just make it to your own taste. I'm really to the point now that, like when I go to a restaurant, I'll ask for, when you come down here, if you order half and half tea, they understand that you mean half sweet, half unsweet. Yeah. Just part of it's just part of
sweet.
Yeah. Well, it's also part of our lexicon. Like if I go up to Ohio and ask for half and half, they probably would think I want like the half and half you put in your coffee or something.
Well, I never had sweet tea until I moved down here because I don't know. Up north, it's iced tea. Like it's iced tea. It's not, and it tastes different than like sweet tea. It's totally different. Like lemon iced tea.
Oh, maybe you
versus,
buy it already like the Lipton in a can, the lemon iced tea.
Yeah, but like that's like at restaurants and stuff like that up north. Like that's our iced tea. That's But when you come down here and ask for an iced tea or whatever, it's like
It's tea.
the sweet
sweet
tea.
tea.
It's different.
So I lived in Minneapolis for 8 years, Minnesota, and I lived in St. Louis for 9 years. And they would have they never had just like plain tea. Like it would be like raspberry tea or the lemon tea.
Yeah.
It was like a concocted beverage, but you could buy it in a can or it'd be out of the soda fountain.
Like brisk.
That's brisk.
Yep.
So, but in the South, we have so much English roots, but we have a very warm temperature. That's why everybody moves there, right? So instead of having that hot English tea every afternoon, it grew into the custom of iced tea.
Yeah.
So that's why we have it. And it's tea with no flavoring. Not this one, I just don't like. No, I actually don't like flavor tea. I don't
Really?
like. Yeah, no, I do not like. It's
Well,
it's
because
an
you were-
abomination.
you
I don't
were,
know why
raised
do
with that.
Yeah. So look at this. It's so easy. 3 minutes in the microwave. We'll let it steep a little bit. I'll just stir it around. And then while this, so it's gonna steep. So the tea bags need to stay in the water long enough for it to brew. So tea needs to brew. Well, if you make a cup of hot tea, right?
Mhm.
Do you use tea bags?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just like, well, you're making hot tea, you're just making it a lot better.
And so, you know, the longer you keep it in there, the more
Mhm.
flavor you'll get.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I was going to share with you tonight too is just, well, I've started talking about some of my tips and tricks and domestic hacks. So, and while this steeps, it'll just be, again, you know, I don't measure. If I need to, I'll just leave that in there indefinitely and then come back and make my tea. It's nice if you do it warm. Sugar does not dissolve in cold tea. It does not dissolve. So if you have cold tea and you want to add sugar, you have to make a simple syrup with some sugar and some water, heat it up, and then mix it in your tea. So yeah, so you can't go to a restaurant, order an unsweet tea and add sugar. It will not dissolve.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that.
That's
Yeah.
like at like Dunkin' Donuts when you get like a coffee and they add the sugar to it.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's iced coffee.
Does it dissolve?
No.
I've
'Cause
never
then,
tried.
Like, when you drink it, like you taste like the sugar in it, like the little, you know.
The little particles of it, so it doesn't dissolve in there either.
Yep. Same
Yes,
thing.
yeah. So we'll let this steep for a minute. And so another thing I wanted to share is that so these trays, like these are cookie sheets, they're ring cookie sheets. So you see us use them, like to put all our ingredients on one spot or carry them from one place to another. And they're good, like I've taken things to a potluck with them. And also you can actually like bake, sometimes you can bake a sheet cake in these, and they're just, and of course cookies. So I just have a big stash of them, and they're the best ever. So if you're thinking of ways to stock your kitchen, you know, gifts to ask from people, it's so basic. You know, it's so basic.
But everybody uses cookie sheets.
Yeah.
It's a good gift.
Yeah, and it's better. I used to have those flat ones that were insulated, but I don't use those at all anymore. I've gotten rid of those. I just have these now. So they're multi-use and they do better. So let's see, what are some other, I wanted to share my butterbell with you. I didn't bring it on. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, so cute.
I know. So, you know how hard, if you want to spread butter on anything, if you take it out of the refrigerator, it's hard and it tears your bread or whatever it is you're trying to do. And so I used to keep my butter like in a butter dish with the top. It's very old school. So maybe some people, you guys remember your grandmothers having that. And butter doesn't go bad at room temperature. Now in the South, if you don't have the air conditioner on, it will turn into a puddle.
Yep.
But my cousin introduced this to me years ago. It's called a butterbell. So this is your butterbell. See, it's a little container. And then it has a cup that goes with it. You put a little bit of water in the bottom. You press your butter into the cup and you turn it upside down. It stays in there. And that way you have room temperature butter, but it is sealed from the air. It stays fresh, like nothing's gonna get on the top. It doesn't spread out and get messy. And it's spreadable whenever you need it. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. It's pretty basic to talk about. You don't want your water to be warm, but you just saw that little splash of water. Oh, would you grab me a butter knife? And so you let your butter come to room temperature, and then you just take it and you just press it into the cup. Just take your knife and just press it into the cup like that. It's just so convenient. I have a couple of them, so when one gets empty and I want to wash it, I have another one right behind it to put in my softened butter. And so this butterbell holds almost exactly one stick. I have another one that holds 2 sticks, but you can see how I've just pressed it in there like that. And then what I'll do, there's just a splash of water in the bottom of this, and I turn it upside down. It doesn't fall out. And right there. And now your butter's, you just keep it on your counter. It's room temperature, stays fresh.
And it's in a cute container.
It's in a cute container
like a
too.
little decoration.
Yeah, and see, it doesn't fall out. So, just a little tip. So, and now my tea, like it needs a minimum of 3 to 4 minutes. And then you've got a pretty strong tea concentrate here. Press the tea out of the tea bag so you get all that good flavor. Put it in the trash bowl. And then you just, in the pitcher I've already put a half cup of sugar. You just pour that in. And it's nice and warm. And you just stir it up so your sugar dissolves. Seems so basic, but let the sugar dissolve all the way. Because you're talking about if it's cold, sugar will dissolve. And then you just add water to fill the pitcher. Because it's so strong, you can just add water now. Or you can add ice if you want it.
Yeah, let it melt a little bit.
Yeah, you add the ice and the ice will melt, but then it's cold. So I'm just gonna add some water though.
And you can kind of dilute it to how you like it. You know?
Yeah, because like since you did those 2 big tea bags, or if you were doing 4 small ones, when you add the water or the ice cubes, it's not too dilute, it's still strong. All right, so we have our sweet tea, we have our ambrosia, we have our sausage and peppers. Can you see that, Holly? Okay. Should we put it up any further? Like even put it on the...
It smells really good.
Yeah.
And we have the ambrosia that needs to go in the fridge overnight.
Yep, on the fridge overnight. And then I was going to share with you, this is my favorite peeler. You can get them on Amazon for like $6 for a 3-pack. I like them way better, but I mean, I have an OXO Good Grips. OXO, you're great products. I love a lot of your products. But this is my very favorite peeler. They're cheap and they're very convenient, very
They're
good.
small. Some peelers are so big, and then you're holding a small potato, and it's...
Yeah, this is, I don't know what it is, it's just, I actually discovered these at a kitchen store in St. Louis years ago. It was a really nice kitchen store, and they recommended that, I mean, they had all that Le Creuset and all the high-end stuff, but they had this by the cash register and recommended this as their peeler, and that's where I first tried it. And then it got gone, and I was like suffering without it, so I had to order them off of Amazon, but they're so cheap. If you buy them individually, if you can find them, they're like $2. And let's see. And then I have some other things I'm going to share with you tonight too.
It's like Christmas all over again.
I know. So when you make a mess in the kitchen, let's say that you have a pan that you've cooked something in that where the bottom of the pan has gotten really crusty, never an iron skillet. But if you put a splash of ammonia, this is so old school. Like, I don't even know if most of you watching have ever bought a bottle of ammonia, but it's like 69 cents in the grocery aisle at the grocery store. You put a splash of this and some hot water in a pan and let it sit for 15 minutes, everything will wipe right out. And then when you buy something like dishes or picture frames, and doggone if they don't put the sticky price sticker on the glass or somewhere, and then you peel it off and it leaves that sticky residue. This Goo Gone. I think I got mine at Lowe's or Home Depot, but you can get it at the grocery store. You spray this on there and just kind of like wiggle your fingernail or something, comes right off. And then this, so the cleaning company that we're going to have do a presentation in the next couple months, they taught me this trick. I don't need it now with my electric stove, but when I had a gas stove, you can get that grime accumulated, like the burnt on grime, because I wasn't like real good about always cleaning my stuff. And it's like the cooked on black around it. This is how I discovered this cleaning company. I hired them to do a spring cleaning, and they took, this is a pumice. This has plastic on it right now, but it's rough. It's called pumice. And you use this, and you can use it on your stove, and it takes off that burnt on grime and does not scratch the stove. I don't know. It's a miracle. It's a miracle, and again, it's cheap. I got it on Amazon. And then those of us that are boating and playing tennis and doing, or just running around with our caps on, our cute little caps, and they get so grungy on the inside. I don't remember where I got this, but
I'm sure Amazon has it.
Amazon has everything. You put your cap in here, and then you close it up. And I'm not kidding you. You put this in the top rack of your dishwasher, It washes your cap. You let it dry in the cage because otherwise the bill will get misshapen. And it's just the best thing because the hask is so disgusting, right?
Especially if you wear makeup and it rubs.
Yeah. This is like my boating cap. So always wear it boating, and it gets like all that sunscreen and the tinted moisturizers all in there, and the sweat. And this has saved my cute. This is my Goat Island hat. For those of you who are locals, you know Goat Island. And then the favorite kitchen towel that you always see us use on here are these white. They're like bar mops. And I first got them at Target, like, I don't know how long ago. I discovered them about 15 years ago. They're like the best thing that ever happened to me, as far as kitchen towels. But yeah, it's like they're so absorbent. They're 100% cotton. And now, of course, at Target, I can't find them at Target, but I can find them on Amazon. And again, they're like dirt cheap. They're like $1 a piece, and you can use them in the kitchen. They're so absorbent, and you throw them in. Yes, they're white. You just throw them in, put little Clorox in there, wash them up on hot water, and they stay white for you.
And they might have other colors too on Amazon.
They might have other colors, but I like the white because I can Clorox it.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so that's it for my tips and tricks tonight, and we are about ready to sign off. So, sausage and peppers with the potatoes, that's our version tonight, and delicious ambrosia and some sweet tea. And we hope that you found these recipes intriguing and that you got any curiosity about the real estate market assuaged. Remember to reach out if you have any more real estate questions, and we'll be posting our recipes. So anyway, Megan and I are so happy to have had you with us tonight, and we hope you have a great month until we see you again.
Bye guys, thank you.